Hey guys, welcome to my next podcast. I appreciate everyone listening to my last one. I got great feedback, and I'll make sure I add it all to this podcast. Same with the last one. We're gonna talk about more NBA topics. So let me first introduce Baz, and secondly, our next host, Reese Sequeira.
Hey guys, what's up?
Get it, Reese.
Clapping. Should have let the clap go.
So Reese, can you give me three of your favorite rappers right now? Or maybe three favorite rappers of all time.
All time. Yeah, I prefer that one. So I gotta have Nas on there, J. Cole, and there's this YouTube group. They used to go by Gentleman's Vibe, but they're now Manila Grey. Those are my three favorite rappers. Oh, I guess they're a group, but yeah, three favorite rappers.
Very solid. Very solid.
I like it.
Yeah. How about you, Baz? Do you have three favorite rappers of all time?
Probably Mo Bamba, the guy who did Sicko Mode, and Soulja Boy, Draco. You know that guy. He really be. Everyone stole his drip. Everyone stole his flow. I don't understand. I'm copping that new Soulja Boy console. Anyway, I'm done with that one.
Soulja Boy is very underrated. Anyway, last time we left off, I asked Baz who he thought was the most underrated NBA player, and I gave him my opinion. And I asked if he knew who it was. So this player right now is averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, and is in the 50-40-90 club. Do you know who that player is?
Man, you told me when we were swimming in the pool.
Oh, did I? Oh,
I already forgot.
I forgot. I told you. Well, that proves how underrated he is.
Yeah, no, I can't believe it. Cool, bro.
Well, it's actually Malcolm Brogdon.
Because I listened to the podcast and I did not know who it was, and I still don't know.
Well, it's Malcolm Brogdon from the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, it's actually 50-40-90, 15 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. Very, very underrated. And I feel like if they let Eric Bledsoe walk, they don't have a problem with Malcolm Brogdon sliding into the starting point guard, because he fits very well with the Milwaukee Bucks right now. But my next underrated player, I think, is Monte Morris. I actually mentioned him in my previous podcast. He's actually per 36 minutes, actually 15 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 1 turnover. I think that's his special trait. He does not get any turnovers. He takes his time with plays, and it's really good. If you guys don't know right now, Jamal Murray is actually out, and Monte Morris actually slided into the starting role, and I actually right now averaging as a starter 16 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 2 threes, and averaging less than 1 turnover.
Shit, is that Monte Morris?
Yeah, Monte Morris, which is insane.
True. That's actually really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I heard his name, but I didn't know Jamal Murray was out.
Yeah, well, Jamal Murray has an ankle injury right now, and I think if I was to choose between Monte Morris and Jamal Murray, I would be happy to pick Monte Morris right now. I'll talk more about that later, because I want to discuss about some Denver Nuggets trades. But do you guys have who are your underrated NBA players right now?
Reese, you please go.
See, the thing is, my underrated player was Kemba Walker, and he's always been my underrated player. The issue is he's an all-star this year, so is it now he's no longer underrated? Are people?
Well, he was an all-star, I think, the last 2 years or a year now.
Really?
Kemba is actually one of my favorite point guards in the league. I have a huge love for the smaller guards who use more of their skills to get to the rim and shooting. So people like Damian Lillard and Kemba Walker. So I reckon that's a pretty good pick. Well, it's depending on your definition of underrated. Some people will say he is, but some people say he isn't because, he's an all-star. But I think that's a pretty solid pick.
Why do you think he's underrated, Reese?
Well, just when people talk about the top-tier point guards, they never really mention Kemba. It's you always hear Dame Lillard, CP3, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, of course. And I feel like Kemba should be up there. I just think it's just a situation right now that, in Charlotte, they're not really winning.
Yeah, MJ doesn't know what he's doing.
To his fault.
Do you feel like he was given? Do Do you feel like he was given the spot because the All-Star game was in Charlotte?
Oh, well, I mean, he's been on a tear this year, anyways. Like, I see what you mean. Oh, well, no, I think he deserves it, anyways.
Well, say if it wasn't in Charlotte and like someone like Kyle Lowry or Ben Simmons got over him, would you think they were more deserving than Kemba?
Well, this year, I think Kemba deserves a spot over Kyle Lowry. I mean, the Raptors are doing really well, but I think that's more to do with Kawhi and the other players showing up. Kyle Lowry's still been playing really great, but I don't think if Kemba were to get a spot over Kyle Lowry, I don't really think it would be that big a deal or that big of a snub. As for Ben Simmons, that's an interesting one because they've just picked up Jimmy Butler, and then obviously having Joel Embiid there, it's kind of like, well, who do you pick as all-stars on that team?
That's true. Do you have any other players you think that's underrated right now?
Baz, do you have any? I haven't really got a clue right now.
I just think, like, when I thought about it, the only name that really came to my mind that I thought was worth mentioning was Aaron Gordon. I think he's going to be really good. Like, he's only 23. I think his averages are down a little bit this season. He made a good jump last season, but I think once Magic figure out what the hell they're doing and they trade Vucevic, I think Aaron Gordon will have a big jump. I think he just seems like the type of guy who will be a good NBA player. I think he will be like maybe a slightly better version of what Blake could have been, as long as he stays out of it.
Oh, really? Trouble. You think so? A bit better than Blake?
I don't know. Like Blake's so good. I reckon Blake's my other underrated player.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Blake is so good, but he's just in a shitty Detroit team.
Did he get selected for All-Stars?
Yeah, he's a reserve. Okay,
that's good. Yeah, he's bouncing back, but it's just unfortunate he's on a bad Detroit team.
Drummond's overrated. Anyway, continue, Jay.
Well, what the whole thing with Aaron Gordon is, I feel like the Magic is such a big mess right now, and they don't know how to use him. Yeah. I think they're holding down his potential. If you could see Aaron Gordon get traded somewhere, where would you like to see him? Like, do you think he'll, like, so for example, if he goes to Utah, do you think he'll be like able to show his full potential and maybe average, big numbers like maybe 20 and 10 and shoot 2 threes a game? Kind of like Tobias Harris in the sense when he went to the Clippers.
Yeah, I think Utah would be a decent fit. I'm just thinking of where else could he be used. Like, I don't know, it's hard to see him. Like, I guess he could technically fit in most places, but I just want to see what more he's capable of. Like, right now he's almost just like a raw talent still. Like, he's really athletic, but he just seems like a hard worker. That's something that I just see in him.
Do you feel like if Victor Oladipo was still in Magic, him and Aaron Gordon and Victor Oladipo would have been a great duo?
Yeah, man. Trade him to Pacers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he should go to the Pacers because I feel like Victor Oladipo needs some extra help, and they got a bit of cash, and I think they have the assets to trade for a player like Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Aaron Gordon would be a good like second or third option to just have on a team and sort of rim running and all that.
Miles Turner in the Pacers, he still hasn't developed a proper offensive game. I think he's still a bit lost on what to do. Like, is he a post player? Is he a mid-range player? Is he a three-point player? He still doesn't know. But his defense is what shines. But if you bring in someone like Aaron Gordon, then he can improve more on that defensive end and just focus on that and be a defensive monster and not focus more on scoring, which will make his job a lot easier.
Yeah, that's true.
So by the way, going back to that Miles Turner thing, out of Turner and Sabonis, what do you think they should do there?
We mentioned this a bit in our last podcast. I think ideally they do want both of them to work, but I feel like it won't. I feel like they need to move one of the two. And if I was to pick, I'll keep Miles Turner and trade Sabonis because he doesn't have that contract yet. He still has his rookie contract, so he can be more of a valuable asset. While Miles Turner has that money on him after this season, so you can probably trade. Like I said, you can trade Sabonis to like Magic for Aaron Gordon, or even like to the Bulls for Jabari Parker for the 1 year rental or something like that.
I would not do that, eh?
What, for Jabari?
Yeah, but like I see what you mean.
Not just something that came to my head. Like, it's not like definite.
I
could think very. Like,
is Jabari still in the league?
Yeah, he's in the Bulls right now, but he's barely playing. But I could see him getting traded. Like, he needs to get traded. He has to. I think his previous injury problems kind of held him back, and teams aren't giving him a full chance to show the world that he can still shine. But in saying that, his defense is pretty boo-boo. So he can still be like a sixth man. Like I think he still has a big role in today's NBA.
I don't know if he wants to be a sixth man though.
Yeah, it's a bit hard, like because you were once a second pick. At one point, you probably were the number one. Could have been the one overall pick as well, but through injuries and everything, you kind of dip a bit.
Because he was beating Wiggins in the whole Wiggins versus Jabari Parker thing. Like,
exactly.
It was always just like who's the better player out of those two picks, and Jabari was definitely winning until he went down.
And then like the season when he came back, he averaged 20 and then got injured again. It's a bit unfortunate. We could never see his full potential. I feel like this is like a common theme for players from Chicago. Like they always get injured. Rose, AD is a walking injury. Jabari. I honestly think it's a common theme. Anyway, we'll just move on. There's a lot of trades rumors happening right now because the trade deadline is ending in 3 days, I think. I think on the 7th of February.
7, yeah.
Yeah. Two of the biggest names on that trade from Memphis, Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. Time that the grit and grind era ends and they go separate ways. Where do you see those two players getting traded?
I don't know. I feel like as a team, I wouldn't really want to be trading for Marc Gasol at this point in time. Like I'm not sure what his contract is like, but
it's big.
It is big, but it's only I think it expires at the end of this season. So it's
right.
Not that,
so what is he an expiring?
Yeah, he's
contract?
expiring contract, so it's not that bad.
It's a player option though. He can opt in for the last year.
Okay, that's a bit rough then.
Yeah.
And then there's Mike Conley. I think he has still another 3 more seasons or 2.
Yeah, he's on a big contract. I think he's on a $30 million year contract for a couple seasons.
Do you guys have any names or any teams you can throw out, or any scenarios you can think of for those two?
Well, for me, personally, I was really hoping I could make a Mike Conley to the Bucks move, but I was on the trade machine for ages and it doesn't work.
Yeah, is it because his contract is too expensive, or
it's too much?
I thought Bucks have a lot of expiring contracts. So they have Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe.
Nah, but I wouldn't want to move too much else. I would just take I would take Bledsoe, and I was hoping you could trade George Hill, but you can't. For whatever reason, you can't seem to trade George Hill.
I think because he recently signed with them or something, or recently got traded. So
and I think there's not going to be quite enough time before the deadline, which sucks because I would trade both Bledsoe and Hill for Conley, and then Brogdon can learn from Conley. Yeah, and Conley, I reckon would just fit so well there, man.
I do agree with that, but I feel like Bucks can do a lot more with that money scenario instead of picking up Mike Conley.
Yeah, but they already still got their money tied up at the moment with George. George Hill's on a $19 million contract. It's a big fuck off. It's a fuck off contract, bro. I know. George Hill's fine, but yeah, 19 mil.
I thought George Hill got bought out and then he went to the Cavs, or was he traded there?
No. I think he signed us. I can't remember what exactly happened, but I'm pretty certain he's 19 mil on the books.
Oof, that's hefty.
Because that was one of the issues as well. I was trying to match salaries, but then I couldn't put George Hill anyway. I'm pretty sure I saw 19 mil.
Well, what about Mike Conley to Utah? Because Donovan Mitchell does need some help. Do you feel like Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell can coexist together and play together?
I don't know, Reese. What do you think, man?
I don't know. Donovan Mitchell's I still haven't worked out what kind of point guard you want with Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And how, because he's definitely ball dominant, and it's just, do you want just a point guard who's just tall, can shoot threes and play defense? And I feel like Mike Conley doesn't really fit that role. I don't know. Who would you guys want to pair with Donovan Mitchell? If you were the Jazz, so in terms of what kind of point guard would they have? Do you think Mike Conley would fit that?
Dante Exum.
Get out of here, man.
Dante Exum still has potential. All right, he still has potential.
But have you heard the Mike Conley to the Pacers talk?
Yeah, I heard about that.
I reckon that'd be sick.
Yeah, well, I do think that could work. But same thing, it's just the money problem. Pacers have a lot of money.
But who's going to the Pacers?
Exactly. It's not a big destination free agency place. The only thing they can get out is through trades. So honestly, Mike Conley is good, but they could do a bit better.
Are you trading Sabonis and Evans? Who are you trading to get?
I'd probably trade Sabonis. Maybe TJ Leaf or whatever, because it's pretty clear that Memphis are trying to rebuild now. They can't compete in the West.
Yeah.
There's no way this grit and grind can work. They're probably going to build around Jaren Jackson, so they want to get younger, and they'll probably try to get like players like Sabonis or who else is young in the Pacers right now. Maybe even Miles Turner if they're willing to take up the contract. Who knows?
I was thinking, what do you guys think about Mike Conley to the Mavericks? I guess I don't know if it could work now because I don't think the Mavericks have any trade pieces anymore.
Actually, I think that would actually be really good. If they could make that work, that would be very good.
Because now they've made the other trade for Porzingis, I don't know if they have any pieces for it anymore.
Well, I think if that scenario does work, it, in my opinion, will work very well. The whole Conley with Doncic and Porzingis, I think that's a trio that can probably contend as well because Doncic is just very versatile. He can play, the scoring role. He can play the passing role. He can just do it all. And then someone like Mike Conley to guide him as well. It'll probably help in his development. And then and also like because Mike Conley played with big men before, him and him and Porzingis will also be very well together.
Oh yeah.
That actually could trade. I
think Barnes' contract would work.
Yeah, Barnes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Memphis been trying to find a forward for quite some time. It's been a few years since they've been trying to get a forward. They got Chandler Parsons, which didn't work. That could work. Well, what about Marc Gasol? Would you try to get Marc Gasol on your team? Like maybe Marc Gasol to the Raptors, or even like if Boston can somehow make it work, or actually. A big rumor right now is actually Pistons trading Marc Gasol for Andre Drummond. Would you do that?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
But
I would do that.
But would you give up youth for an aging Marc Gasol?
But here's my I was about to say, I already did say, I think Drummond's overrated.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting anything more out of Drummond. And if you've traded for Blake, I don't know, what else are you going to do? You might as well.
Would you still build a team around Andre Drummond?
I think Drummond has to be a side piece. I don't think he can be a centerpiece of anything. I don't think he's that type of guy. Centers that are centerpieces are like Joel Embiid, Porzingis, who am I missing?
Doncic.
I'm missing
Ben Simmons.
No, but I'm missing a big man center.
Yeah. Ben Simmons. Big man.
It's a big man center.
Ben Simmons.
Can't think of who it could be.
I'm just thinking of Giannis.
Not AD though. Ben Simmons.
Oh, I thought that was a joke. I thought we were talking about the market. Did I just miss the whole joke?
No, man. I was actually just fucking lost.
Oh, so you're throwing shade at Jay.
Always.
Who's that big man? That good big man.
Big fella. Fucking, the big fella.
Big fella from down under. Okay, well, say Marc Gasol does go to the Pistons. Do you think both him and BG can work together?
Yeah, for as long as Marc Gasol doesn't cripple down.
Or do you think the problem is they don't have a stable point guard? Because I do agree that the Pistons need to move on from Andre Drummond because I feel like him and he's just not a player you want to build around. But the fact is, Drummond and BG is no more different than BG with what's his name again? DeAndre Jordan. And the reason they were working was probably because they had a really solid point guard. So do you think if the Pistons got a point guard who could run the show, maybe they could? I'm not sure if this could work, but maybe a point guard like Kemba, or even a point guard, or even getting both Mike Conley and Marc Gasol if the money can work.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I was like, why don't we just do full Mike and Mark to Detroit, and Detroit just sends everything else back.
Do you think a team like that would work in Pistons?
Hell yeah.
Actually, I think it could. I think it could work as well. I feel like if they had a decent point guard, whoever doesn't matter who they have at a center, as long as you have a decent point guard that can work with BG and get either Marc Gasol or Andre Drummond, I think you can contend I wouldn't say contend in the East, but you'll be in the playoffs. It's just depending who's around you right now.
Yeah, for sure. Reese, can you tell me what do you think of the Porzingis trade though?
The Porzingis trade.
Yeah, I want to know.
Are we moving on to that?
Yeah,
honestly, I think everyone's already talking about the Knicks have been robbed. Everyone's comparing this to everyone's having a similar sort of reaction to when OKC traded for Paul George from the Pacers. They're like, oh, the Pacers got robbed. The Pacers got nothing back. I don't know. I just feel like that opinion is wrong. I feel like this is a trade that actually is good for both teams.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. I feel like collusion is a thing. I feel like with all the like,
yes,
honestly, with like tampering and all that, I think the Knicks know they're gonna land some big free agents this summer, and it's like, well, you know what? Let's clear up our cap space. Let's get off our bad debts. Mind you, I feel like they still screwed up in the first place to have those like bad contracts. Like they shouldn't be in a position where they have to give away a young talent just to get rid of those contracts. But like in the situation that they're in, I feel like this is a really good trade for them. I'm really big on Porzingis. I do really like him. I think he has a very, very high ceiling.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, as the New York Knicks, if you want to be building your future around a 7'3" guy who has been kind of injury prone over the past few years.
Yeah.
Oh well, obviously injury prone. His ACL's been done, but And then for the Mavs, like this is a pretty good sort of swing, right?
Yeah.
To just throw away their expiring contracts and be like, we have a chance at something like legendary.
Yeah. Well, Porzingis could be the next, Dirk, which is very insane.
Man, Mavs. Who was saying Mavs have like the greatest white person team in the history of the game. Like you'll never find a team with like the best white guys in the whole fucking league.
All NBA white guys.
Man, just repping the white folk.
Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Dirk.
Steve Nash. Hell yeah.
This is what I think. I think this is actually, I think you're right. I think both ways are even, but it's depending how the Knicks offseason goes. If the Knicks can land the number 1 pick.
From a scale of 1 to 10, how certain are you that like someone like KD, or I'm thinking KD, but people are also saying Kyrie, but like either of them from 1 to 10, how sure are you that one of them has said, "Yo, I'm gonna sign with you guys in the off season"?
I'll tell you that after what I'm gonna say first. So I feel like if the Knicks can get like a high pick, possibly number 1, couple that with Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, and a bunch of picks. I feel like that's the best package you can get for AD from any other team right now. So you get AD, then from the 1 to 10 scale, from KD joining the Knicks. Because Knicks is a big organization. Everyone says it. A good Knicks team is good for the NBA. So I do feel like 10 out of 10, if they can get AD from all those assets, KD will join them. Kyrie, I'm not too sure because Kyrie is a weirdo and no one knows what he's going to do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if KD just like, okay, Kyrie goes to like the EuroLeague. He's like, yeah, I had fun here. I'm going to chill in Europe now. Or maybe just like go on a rock and go to the moon. Or do something real stupid. That guy's weird, man.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not just KD and Kyrie. Like, even this year for free agents, like there's Kemba, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, and then like Kawhi's got his player option too. And then that's just like your tier ones. You've even got like Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler.
I want to live in the world where Knicks have $76 million in cap space and sign fucking nobody, Like, I want to live in that world, I just want to see how fucking...
Welp, looks like we got Dennis Smith Jr. Oh,
yeah, it's like...
Speaking of Dennis, how funny is it that a year ago, LeBron was like, oh, Knicks screwed up by drafting Frank Ntilikina and not Dennis Smith Jr. And now they have Dennis Smith Jr. on the team.
Yeah.
How awkward is that?
What's that tweet that David keeps sharing on the chat? The fucking everyone has a God-given talent. Mine just happens to be slanging this wood in my pants or something.
Oh.
Like, is that a real tweet?
Oh, it's DSJ tweet.
The Dennis Smith Jr. one.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god. What was he?
That's
thinking?
real, right?
Yeah, I think it's real.
Holy shit, that's good.
Boy, huge slog.
That wasn't when he was in the league, right?
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
I don't think so. I feel like it would have blown up within like the year that it did. the time of the NBA.
I remember seeing it around his rookie season.
Oh, really?
But whether he did it on his rookie season or not, I'm not sure. But I do remember because I'm pretty sure it's a real tweet. I just couldn't tell you when he sent it. But man, that is funny as hell.
Do you think Knicks have potential to not like get any big stars? Do you think they'll miss any players out? Miss any players?
If the way that New York fans are and like the media is on New York, if they don't get KD or Kyrie, if they get Kemba and Boogie, I would say everyone is going to say Knicks fucked up.
Yeah.
Because they want KD or Kyrie or both, or even have an AD trade in there if they get the number one pick, which is slim chances, but obviously that's what they're aiming towards. But shit, I don't know. I have this weird feeling.
If you were a Knicks fan and you miss on KD and Kai, but you get like someone like Clay, Boogie, Kemba, or like even Tobias Harris, would you still be happy with that?
How many of them are you getting?
I don't know. Say,
I need all 4 of them to be happy, because fuck.
Say you build a new big three with Clay, Tobias Harris, and Kemba. Would you be happy with that? Or is KD or KD and or Kyrie a definitive thing to make this trade worth it?
I think you need one of those two. Yeah. To be honest.
Okay, say
like
if
you get Zion, like if you get the number one pick and you don't trade it and you draft Zion, and then you get one of the rest that isn't KD or Kyrie, like I could accept that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
This is actually a very unpopular opinion. I don't think Zion should be the number one pick. I don't think he.
Wow. I think I agree with you there.
Both can get fucked.
Ben Simmons in 80 is a bad trade. Anyway.
So who do you think is number one draft then? Who do you think should be number one pick?
RJ Barrett.
I think RJ Barrett is the black man. I think RJ Barrett is black man Luka Doncic potential.
He's shooting 30%.
And then outside RJ, is it Cam Reddish? They're shooting, they're scoring forward on the Duke team.
Yeah, Cam Reddish.
If you guys watch him play, I do believe he has Paul George and Kawhi Leonard potential. And in my opinion, I think he is a lot better. He'll develop a lot better than Zion.
So what potential do you see in Zion then? If
because
you're saying
the problem with Zion is outside of his athletic ability, he's nothing because he's I think he's so chunky yet he's so small. Like what position? What position?
I'm with you, Jay. I feel like he needs to be like 2 inches taller.
Okay, just fucking put him on the floor.
like he reminds me of Kenneth Reed in a way. You know what I mean? Like he just.
But my boys. Kenneth is like 16 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks right now because he found a place where he's fits. But he's definitely he's more skilled than Kenneth Reed. Kenneth Reed shoots air balls from the corner.
Yeah.
Like Zion's shown an ability at only 19 to still hit the three. Like
he's got kinda.
But he's so young.
Yeah, Baz. He has more skill than Kenneth Reed. His ceiling is Draymond Green.
Get out of here! Don't ever say that. Draymond Green is GOAT. Okay. Let me tell you. Draymond Green.
Man, this is not how I wanted to spend my night.
He is the glue of Golden State Warriors.
He's not the glue. He's fucking the goodness.
Curry is the legs. Draymond is the heart.
Fucking hell.
But anyway, just going back to the Knicks. Nothing to Zion, nothing, say they do get the number one pick and they get KD. Would you be happy with that scenario?
Yes. As long as they use the number one pick on Zion. Unless one of the other two really proves a point until then. Because there's still lots of time. Like, I'm open to the idea that Zion doesn't have to be the number one pick. But at the moment, I see Zion as number one.
Do you think them trading away Porzingis was a mistake? Because they still could have landed a free agent to pair up with Porzingis.
Bro, here's the thing. Like, if the Knicks made this move without having explicit talks with a big ass free agent saying, "I'm going to come if you guys have the space," they're retarded. And I just refuse to believe they're that retarded.
I don't know, man. It is the Knicks organization.
No, man. It's been so long.
They traded for Andre Bargnani, and he didn't even play for them.
No, but this is a new regime. This is a new time in the Knicks.
They gave I think 30 million or 20 million to Joakim Noah.
Yes, I remember this. This is all still very fresh, but I don't know. I just don't think they would do that thing. And did you guys see during the Porzingis trade? So that Woj bomb or whatever came out about the meeting, and he sort of said his displeasure about the direction, but he never actually, and you can see it in the way that Woj tweeted, he actually never explicitly said, "I wanted to be traded." Yeah. The words were, the Knicks front office felt as though he was asking for a trade.
Yeah.
And then after the trade happened, did you see that Porzingis Instagram story?
Oh, the one that's like stay awake or something.
Oh yeah. It's like soon the world will know or something
about the truth will come out or something. And then to me, I reckon Knicks were just trying to do anything to make it, flip it back on Porzingis, make it look like Porzingis didn't want to be there, and then trade him away because they knew they're going to get someone this offseason and they just need that cap space right now.
Well, it's not like they could have gave Porzingis a cheaper deal if they were a bit scared. Or like,
but see, I think what Porzingis was going to do was he was going to take his qualifying offer.
Yeah.
And then
so then he wouldn't have been restricted
okay.
The year after.
That's
so that
New York Knicks drama.
Yeah, I know, but man, that's like a conspiracy. So I reckon Knicks just took him into a room and was like, "Oh yeah, he never said he wanted to be traded, but he was like sort of felt that way, so we just traded him anyway."
Yeah.
And that's why Porzingis was like, passive aggressive. Oh, the truth will come out.
Okay, well then, from the Mavs point of view, would you take the qualifying offer, or would you try to re-sign him and keep him as a restricted free agent?
I don't know, man.
Like, where should the Mavs go from here? Like we all know, KP, he has injury problems, and just facts. If you're a tall, lanky guy, you're probably going to be very injury prone.
Yeah. It's not a good track record for guys.
I think the idea is that because he's being paired up with someone more talented, there will be less of a load on him, and then hopefully he's able to get back into his groove.
But even that, just the way he injured it, it's just because the way he landed. I felt like it was because he was too tall and lanky, and then it was just too much force, and then just his knee just caved in, and then he just tore his ACL.
So what would you prefer that they just get him for like the next year and see how
that's
he
the
goes?
thing. That's the thing. I don't know. It's just if there's a way they could get him to play again this season and then get an idea of what to do, then that'll be great. But from what I'm reading, I think they don't want to play him at all.
Yeah, I think they're gonna just leave him out. I think they're just gonna make him completely recover, which I think is the right thing to do. I mean, if you're the Mavs, you can't be sort of half-assing it. You sort of have to, like, this is what we did. Like, basically, I mean, I reckon they finessed the deal. Like, it's such a good deal.
Yeah.
Obviously, no matter who you trade for, there's always going to be injury risk, no matter who, like even LeBron James. But you can't really make decisions with that sort of fear of what if they get injured, because that just cripples you no matter who you trade for. I think you just have to go for it and just try your best to manage it and just have faith in your medical team.
So you're saying
put more money in that.
So you're saying that they should try to re-sign him? Is that what you're trying to say?
I would say so.
Yeah, okay. I think there's actually there's no problem to that, because both players are very young.
Yeah.
And you can, just play the waiting game, because let's be real, the Warriors, or even like the Rockets, OKC, they're probably still got like a good 3 to 5 years left of their prime. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Or even longer. I don't know, depending how things work out this offseason. And Doncic is only 19, I think. Is he 19? Well, regardless,
yes, he is.
Regardless, those two are very young, and you can just play the waiting game until they develop into stars, into their full potential stars.
Reese, do you reckon the Mavs, they need to learn from the mistakes of Philly?
Oh, how so?
Because
what mistakes?
Because Philly is still super young, but because they had so much success early, now I feel like that Jimmy Butler trade sort of fucked them up, and the idea is because they suddenly felt like, oh, this is our opportunity, but
I agree.
They're still so young, and now they've just fucked up their cap situation. They lost.
That's why AD to Simmons is a bad trade, because it's a desperate move.
No, but you've already fucked it up. Like I said, I don't like half-assing shit.
So what are you saying that?
I'm asking Reese a question.
Are you saying that the Mavs should
take their time?
The Mavs should just sort of wait it out, take their time, just let Doncic
yeah, like it doesn't even mean like take it slow. It just means let's not rush it. Like if you have a bit of success, let's not, get all panicky and be like, all right, we got to fucking win in the next 2 years. Like let's relax. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I feel like they're not. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year, right? I don't think. Hopefully, I can't imagine there'll be too much.
If KP came back and he's playing like he did last year before he got injured, you think they can make playoffs?
Man, it is tough in the West. Like, whose spot are they taking?
Spurs,
especially with LeBron back.
Spurs.
Not Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs. Because I'm just saying Spurs because I hate the Spurs. No, in fact, I hate Boston and I hate Spurs. Everyone, stay woke.
Right now, the Lakers aren't even in the top 8, and I'm assuming they're going to make the playoffs. It's like, well, like either the Jazz, Rockets, or Spurs, like one of those teams are not going to make the playoffs.
Any of these teams not making it, except maybe the Jazz. But even then, I think they're all going to make it.
Well, then, do you see the duo of Doncic and KP being a championship contending team? We'll make a championship contending team.
Depends what they put around them.
Okay.
I just think, I think so. I feel like KP is just such a unique sort of talent. Like you don't come across many like ring protectors that can shoot threes well, and that athletic. And we'll see how he looks after his injury, after he recovers and all that. But just KP himself, I feel like, is almost enough to surround it to have as the main talent. And then you have Doncic too.
So who would you make the number one man in that team, Doncic or KP?
I think it's definitely Doncic. Despite what I just said, I know that sounds so contradicting, but just the situation that KP's just come off the injury and just the season that Doncic is having this year.
Okay, say KP learns a lot from Dirk. He's dropping step back fadeaways. He grows his hair really long with like the long hair with the headband. Early 2000 Dirk, the best Dirk. Would you still think that if KP can be like that, you still think Doncic's better than KP? Sorry if that doesn't make sense. So what I'm trying to say is, do you think if KP becomes like Dirk,
I see where you're coming from.
Be better than him, or do you think KP will be better? Because I think I do believe that KP is placed in a good position right now in terms of his play style is so similar to Dirk. He can learn a lot from him and just become like a jump shot assassin while like blocking shots. And I feel like that's something really special. Because I think that's the thing. I think Dirk is actually very underrated. His career is very underrated, and his skill set. I don't think people realize how great he is. Because people, when people talk about great power forwards all the time, of course Tim Duncan, but then they say like Karl Malone or Kevin Garnett. Actually, Kevin is really good. Or Karl Malone or like Charles Barkley and all that. But they always tend to forget Dirk, and I do think Dirk is the second best power forward of all time. If he teaches someone like KP his skills, KP could potentially take his spot, as the second or even like the best power forward of all time.
Just to piggyback on that, I think Dirk's performance against LeBron, against LeBron, that whole postseason, like the teams that they came across, I feel like that's probably one of the best like offensive postseason playoff performances in like
at that time. He was regarded as one of the best players of all time. Like even on 2K, he did not. When you played that Mavs team, you played Dirk, he wouldn't miss a shot. They were good times, and that was a time where
I just remember I was just saying, I just remember the commentators literally being like, "This is a joke. Like, how is he doing this?" Like, it was just like disbelief with the shots he was making, like fadeaways. Like, oh my god.
But yeah, so I guess we both agree that although both Reese and I can agree, like, this is kind of an even trade. Baz, do you think the whole Knicks and Mavs trade, do you think that's an even trade, or do you think there's a clear winner between the two? Or do you think it's too early to tell?
I don't know. I think it's just too early. Like, you have to see what the Knicks have been finessing on, like, behind the scenes, because there's like Reese said, there's definitely collusion and stuff. Like, it's been happening. Like, it doesn't matter who or what. Like, everyone talks around. So yeah, it's too early to tell.
Like the Woj bomb. Like when I woke up to it, I was like, oh my god. Yeah, this is not even a bomb. This is a nuke.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I didn't like. No one saw this coming.
Yeah, it happened out of nowhere.
I think the Mavs still have like 30 mil of cap space next year as well, or like something like that. I remember seeing they still have cap space to sign players.
Right now, where would you go from now? Like, who do you build with? Like, do you still keep Harrison Barnes? They got Tim Hardaway. They got Courtney Lee. Like, would you keep those players and keep them on the team and build around them as the main role players, or would you try finesse your way and try to get like a big free agent? Like we mentioned before, like someone like Mike Conley or something.
See, I think Harrison Barnes is probably going to opt into his like player option, because I don't know who else is going to pay him the amount of money he's being paid. With the money they have left over, I think they should just try get veterans and just, like Baz was saying, just sort of take it slow, like not really go straight into like making the chess move to try to get like your Jimmy Butler or players like that. Just definitely let the young players grow. Let KP come back and not have so much pressure onto him to like be a championship
ignore
team.
sorry to do this, but like ignore everything you just said. If they were sorry, I just
ignore everything.
I just see what your opinion is on this. If they do want to win right now, who would you get on that team? Who do you think is what move do you think is the right move right now if they want to win a championship within the next, let's say, 3 years? Is there someone like Clay?
3 years.
Is it someone like you, or is it players that you build around, like a bunch of role players? Or
I think Mark Cuban's gonna have to go on his free agency game and start recruiting.
Yeah.
There's no secret that Mavs rarely build around draft picks, their own draft picks. Sorry, they always get free agents and other players. Like Doncic is probably the first player. So Doncic and DSJ were probably the first players in a long time where Mavs were, where Mavs got the top 10 pick and they were trying to build around. So I think Mark Cuban tries to build teams by getting pieces together. So yeah, so I do think I wouldn't be surprised if that he tries to rush this process. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just it's a Mark Cuban thing. I think it's a Mavs thing.
I hope they don't.
I think they'll have to try to find a way to trade Barnes as well.
If they could keep Barnes, because he's only got 2 more years on the deal, and then re-sign him for less. He's he's shown to be good as a fourth option.
Yeah, I do agree.
If he's just there as your fourth option, he on a cheap contract, obviously. I don't think anyone's going to pay him very much after this contract's over.
Say they do throw money at someone like Boogie or something. Do you think that they would win championship?
Fuck, imagine that, Boogie, Porzingis, and Doncic.
I think those three fit well together.
It might work because Boogie could take some of the punishment that Porzingis
exactly
has to deal with.
Well, that's what I think. I think the next move should be a solid point guard or a solid center. More lean towards solid center.
I think it depends on Harrison Barnes, because whatever they do with him, I guess if he stays, maybe they're covered with having an athletic wing. But I thought maybe an athletic wing to pair with Doncic.
That'd be pretty awesome. That would actually be really good. So what about Jimmy Butler or something?
Nah, overrated.
Overrated?
Yes!
Yeah, I agree with you, Baz. I think Jimmy Butler's overrated. Just everywhere he goes, the situation just seems to implode, and he's like, oh, I'm done with these cats or whatever. All right.
I just had this thought. Nothing to do with Jimmy Butler, but I could see Kawhi going to the Mavs, because Kawhi is weird like that.
Oh, man. If Kawhi goes to the Mavs...
He's just
Yeah, he just wants the heat.
Who signed New Balance? I said in my last podcast, who does that? No knock on New Balance. No knock on them. But in the basketball world, New Balance? Really?
I'm going to cop 3 pairs, actually.
Don't lie, you already have 3 pairs.
Nah, I wish I did, I wish I had a prototype.
Nah, I bet you do, because you're a Ben Simmons hater.
I just want that big N on my shoe. Just that big New Balance N.
Moving on. Last week, Woj dropped another nuke. The AD trade. The AD wanted to be traded. Lakers front runners are Lakers and Boston. Do you guys see that happening?
Reese, get him, Reese.
No. I don't know. If I'm the Pelicans, I'm sending AD on a very long holiday. Like, I'm booking him tickets to the Bahamas or something and just being like, you can go have fun. We're going to lose every game. We're going to wait until July 1st when all the players, where Celtics, Lakers, New York, whatever, where everyone can be involved with the trade, and then we make a trade. Because I feel like right now there's just no reason for them to rush into a trade. I feel like the Lakers could easily lowball them here. Right now, they're not in a position of power. So definitely
exactly.
Send AD packing, rest them for the season or something.
The Pelicans right now have the power. Everyone has the players they want. So and they can decide the package they want as well. So like it's now on them. But I do want AD to get traded now. Only because he's on my fantasy team and I need him to win.
What a selfish guy.
I haven't won fantasy in the last 6-7 years. I've been coming top 3 every year. This year was my year to win. I had Steph Curry and AD on the same team. And I also had Victor Oladipo. If those is out right now, if AD goes out, I'm not playing fantasy again. Okay? Now that's a lie. I'll probably still play. But, I'll be, very upset.
See, I'd be happy if, like, the Celtics could find a way to do a 3-way trade. Okay. And we'll just ship away Kyrie.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had enough of that guy, man. That guy just...
For everyone who doesn't know,
he's too
Bruce
woke
is a
for me.
hard Boston fan. And that's why I'm really surprised he said that. You rather Kyrie out and just have AD instead of having Kyrie and AD together.
I guess part of like keeping Kyrie isn't so much. I mean, Kyrie's obviously a talent, but then also that AD would want to re-sign. I don't know if we could somehow find a way for AD to buy into like Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
I guess we'd probably have to trade Jason Tatum to get AD. Yeah, maybe not, because then AD probably won't want to re-sign, and then we'll be done. But no, I don't know. Like Kyrie's definitely very talented, but it's like if he doesn't want to be in the Celtics, like we need to try to get something out of him.
Just like occurred to me as you're talking. What happened? Like, man, I don't want to bring this sort of crappy stuff, like just terrible situations. But just imagine this off season. Kyrie decides to leave, goes wherever, right? And another team pulls out a better offer for AD, and you're left no Kyrie, no AD, and you just have the young guys in your team plus Marcus Smart and Marcus Morris. How do you feel, man? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I just got an epiphany, man. Like it occurred to me.
That'd be perfect.
Like if for people who don't know, like Jeremy hates Boston with an incredible amount of passion, and Reese loves Boston so much. Like I'm pretty sure when Paul Pierce was being pushed off with the fucking wheelchair, I'm pretty sure I saw Reese pushing it with him. I'm almost certain of it. So those are the two dichotomies we got here.
Good thing you mentioned Paul Pierce. Everyone, he's overrated.
We don't need to get into
my
this conversation.
favorite player of all time. How dare you say that? He is the Toronto killer.
He faked that injury. My leg hurts.
No, you know what? How he fucking shit himself.
He did it for the story. He
get up.
He did it for the story. He did it for publicity, all right?
No, man. He actually shit himself. He couldn't get up, so they put him on a wheelchair. He went back, shat, got a new pair of shorts, and that's how he came back out.
He didn't want people to see the doo-doo stains.
Man, he actually shit himself. Look this conspiracy up.
Right now, I want to do of like leaving the chat.
Okay. Back to
what's the podcast equivalent? Reese has left the group.
Yes.
I think that did bring up a good point. How would you feel if Kyrie leaves?
Paul Pierce did actually shit himself.
If Kyrie did leave and they don't get AD, how would you feel?
Well, I mean, we've got so much depth and so much talent that I feel like we can find a way. It just means that we're not going to find a way in the Warriors era. So if the Warriors are still a thing next year and we don't get any of those players, like we don't have a chance. Because I feel like Boston are really well matched up against the Warriors, and I think if we get out of the East, we could honestly beat the Warriors, which might be a bit delusional. But just, man, if you watch all the like Celtics Warriors games in the past, like Brad Stevens just seems to know what he's doing against that team. But I think we do need a guy like Kyrie to get over that hump for sure.
As much as I hate to say this, I do agree with you. I really do. I think out of all the teams in the East, Bucks, Toronto, and Boston, they can have high chance of beating the Warriors.
But then at the same time, I think Boston, while you say that, could also go out in the first round this year. And like I wouldn't even be that surprised.
Yeah, East is super competitive.
Yeah, I think I was looking. It's like there are so many teams in the East that could be playoff teams. I guess now it's a bit more refined. But like other than like the Knicks, Cavs, Bulls, and maybe the Hawks, it seems like every other team's a playoff team. There's like 11 teams that are going for like the 8 spots.
Anyway, I say the Pelicans do wait till July. Besides Boston and Lakers, who else do you think could make a run for 80? Like any dark horses?
You mean at the in the off season?
Yeah. So say like Pelicans do wait till July in the off season. Is there anyone you could see them doing moves with? That is not Ben Simmons and AD.
Do you think there's a Wizards John Wall trade in play?
Oh man, John Wall is like one of the most untradeable assets in the whole league.
He's injury prone, contract. He's gonna retire as a Wizard.
His contract's just too big.
And like they seem like they play better without him. Everyone seems to complain about his personality in the locker room. Like it's untradeable. It's unfortunate, man, because I think he's still a good player, but I don't see a team willing to. I don't really see a team willing to take a chance.
Why did you bring up the Wizard? Like, do you think they could make a move for AD?
No, I was just thinking. I was trying to think of which teams have big contracts.
I reckon Bradley Beal and AD would be pretty cool duo. Beal is very I want to say he's underrated, but he's very underappreciated in the league in terms of the fan base.
Yeah, it's funny because Beal was like the injury prone one, like the one who was on minutes restrictions and stuff. And now it's just every year John Wall seems to be going out, and then the Wizards play better.
But aren't John Wall and Anthony Davis like mates from
Kentucky?
Kentucky, yeah.
They both went to Kentucky, but I don't think they're close mates. It's more Eric Bledsoe, John Wall, and Boogie. Because they play together.
Yeah. Sure.
Baz, do you have any like trade scenarios?
How about the Rockets?
The Rockets?
Oh yeah, four picks.
I don't know. I was seeing something about Clint Capella and Eric Gordon.
I would definitely do that.
And it's pretty crazy though, because
Eric Gordon's from Pelicans.
Pelicans, yeah, but because you can't trade consecutive picks, so there'll be 8 years of picks.
8 years of picks, yeah, that's what they were going to throw in.
8 years of picks. I think that'd be a pretty crazy trade, but I don't think they will take it because just from the last podcast, there's no, with those picks, there's no guarantee you'll get a good player, and I think Pelicans are banking on a player there that is guaranteed to be good, and they can build around.
Yeah, I think the only other thing on the off season would be whoever gets that number 1 pick. I think that's who the Pelicans are waiting for. Whoever gets that number 1 pick, I think they're going to try and make a deal with them.
Do you think it has to be number 1, or do you think it has to be like top 3? A minimum top 3 or top 5?
I don't think, and I think as much as like I'm not disrespecting. Like I think you guys are wrong, but I'm not disrespecting the fact that you guys don't think Zion's number 1. But I think the more consensus around the league is Zion will be the number 1 pick. So if it's not a number 1 pick, if it's one of the second or the third, I don't think it's worth nearly as much to the Pelicans. But the Pelicans, I mean, their owner is a football owner anyway. So yeah, I'm sure they're just going to go with the consensus, and the consensus is going to be Zion. So I think it has to be number 1 pick.
Do you have any trade packages in mind that for AD right now?
Ben Simmons.
All right. Let's do this again. Let's do it. Square up. Let's go. Tell me why Ben Simmons should be traded for AD.
Because, like I said,
swear to God, if you bring up chemistry.
Yes.
I swear to God, bring up chemistry.
But we'd have to go over.
Go. I'm just being.
I think you just want this to happen so that you predicted it before anyone else.
That. I just
okay. All right. Reese, do you think Ben Simmons for AD is a good trade? Do you think AD and Embiid can work together? Or do you think those two will be a championship contending team, a championship contending duo?
I don't know. That's a really tough one. Well, as it is, like Embiid's a little bit sort of like injury prone, a little bit. Like I guess he's been playing a lot lately. And then AD also has some injury issues.
Just on the court, as a team, do you think those two you can build around and win a championship?
Yeah, well, they're too talented to not be able to play with each other. Like I think they'd find a way and figure it out. But I'm not that big on Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious that was a desperate move.
What, to trade Simmons for AD? To pick up Butler. Sorry. Yeah, it's like traded their depth away.
You brought up the whole thing. To take it slow. Slowly, and I feel like I learned from their mistake. So if they pick up AD, in my opinion, it's just a desperate move, and I don't think it's a good trade. I think Simmons, a pairing between Simmons and Embiid is a lot better than AD, than Embiid.
See, I just to quickly go over the chemistry argument. I went through it following the Clippers during the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin era.
Yeah,
and there was obvious chemistry issues. It didn't mean that they weren't a good team. They were consistently top 4 in the West and had that incredible playoff series against the Spurs, which is one of my favorite. It's actually probably my favorite 7-game playoff series ever.
Yeah.
Other than, it probably in line with that LeBron.
Get out of here.
But beyond that, I've seen how great players and they have a poor chemistry, whether they obviously hate each other or not. If they just don't have that kind of chemistry, Shaq and Kobe is one example of where it can work. But even that, Shaq and Kobe are transcendent talents, both of them. And I just...
Are you talking about off-court chemistry or on-court chemistry?
I'm talking about everything is connected. I don't think you can shut down one system and just turn the other system on. I don't think they're robots. I
think Clippers didn't work out, not because it was chemistry. I think it was injuries. I think it was just everything that happened to them was just wrong timing. They were always top 4 teams in the West. And, at one point, everyone thought they were going to win championships. But, whether it would be Blake Griffin or Chris Paul, it was just injuries. And, if 2 of your best players are out, you can't win.
But if it was just injuries, blowing it up was basically because, it sort of made the chemistry issues even worse, because now you just keep fucking losing in the playoffs. And I just feel like something similar like that is going to happen between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I just don't see a decent chemistry. I don't think... I would rather just take a chance on it now that you've already destroyed it.
But then how can you tell if AD and Embiid going to have good chemistry as well?
Because I've seen Anthony Davis do it with Boogie, and I've seen Boogie and Embiid get along together, and I think they're both similar types of personalities. They're both very loud. They're charismatic, and they have a similar person. They're not the same person, but I've seen AD being able to make that work. And
well, in terms of off-court chemistry, I do agree with what you just said, but I think on court, I don't think they would have good chemistry.
Either way, to be honest, I think...
How well is AD shooting threes?
He's not shooting that well. He only makes 1 a game. I'm pretty sure shooting 30% or just under 30, similar to Embiid.
Yeah,
because I feel like one of the 2 of them will have to just be able to step up on their 3-point shooting.
In the last podcast, the only reason Boogie and AD work is because Boogie has handles, he can shoot threes, and he's a good passer. But I don't think AD's okay passer. He's not the greatest, and Embiid, I don't think he's a good passer. Besides just dropping the handoffs, both the hands are good, but I don't think they're up to Boogie's level. So I don't think with all of this in play, I don't think those two be a good duo. I don't think it'll work.
But even if going back to on-court chemistry, then my issue on that is that Ben plays really well on a fast tempo, open space, push the pace kind of tempo, because once he gets out in transition, it's impossible. It's like he'll either dunk it or find the open cutter or the open man in the corner. But you get Embiid to play that too much and he'll fuck up his foot again. Like, you can't expect a 7'2" guy to do that. Whereas if you have Davis and Embiid, now you've decided, okay, this is our play style. We're not going to fuck around and do half top tempo, half slower tempo. This is our tempo. We're going to get a point guard that knows how to play at this tempo. You could literally fucking plug in Rondo, because that's what they did with Boogie and AD, and it could work. Yeah. Because you know what tempo you're doing. I just feel like Philly sort of have a half personality. Like, they sort of know what they are, but they're not going.
Well, I think that's still just trying to find out. I don't think the duel between Embiid and Simmons is a problem. I think the problem is the team they have around them. Like I said, they gave up so much They gave up a lot of shooters last off season, and it clearly affected them. They should have gave them the contract. They had the winning team. But in saying that, the whole fast tempo thing, what happens if they do the opposite? So they trade Embiid for AD. Do you think?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Simmons could be like a Rondo 2.0. Like,
Do you think that would work?
I don't think it might, but I don't think they could ever do that, because for sure that whole Philly Nation loves Embiid. Like, you might get like actually killed.
Yeah.
Well, they also love Ben Simmons as well.
Oh, they like Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you. I'm starting to agree more and more with Baz.
I just don't like. I know that the liking thing I do agree, because I think because Embiid has a character, Simmons is pretty like boring.
And I feel like I'm sounding like I'm a Ben Simmons hater, which I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not.
Everyone, Baz is a Ben Simmons hater.
I just think he's better off in a different situation.
Okay.
I think he needs a situation to be built around him, and as long as Embiid is there, it's just not going to happen, because Embiid and Joel are just not polar opposites, but they play different styles.
To put this in perspective, they're still contending in the East. I think they're third right now.
Yeah.
Imagine if they just got a bunch of shooters, maybe change up the coaching. I think Simmons and Embiid are not. I don't think Brett Brown is playing to their strengths. So I think that they need to find a coach that will play towards their strength and just build a bunch of shooting wings around them. And I guarantee you, that'd be a really good team.
Yeah, I think you make a really an interesting point about the coaching. Like, I'll be very interested, because I feel like I heard somewhere that there is a bit of buzz about what they're going to do with Brett Brown, which would be sad, because he's been so loyal to that whole organization.
Like I said this before in the previous podcast, he developed them well. He's a good coach, but he's not the right coach for them.
He did like the Mark Jackson role really well, but like last year, the Celtics, I think the 76ers were favorite to beat us, but just Brad Stevens just outcoached him. Just found a way to make Simmons useless.
But in saying that was Simmons' first playoff experience. You can't knock. Same with Embiid. You can't knock him down for that.
But it was also Jason Tatum's first, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm not knocking anyone down. I'm just saying I think what happened Boston against Philly, I think, proved the point of why I don't think they can work. I think a good coach can figure out that they're not playing one style. Like the Rockets sometimes are ugly as to watch, but they don't half-ass any of that shit. They decide this is what we're fucking doing and this is what we're going to do. And that's why they played so well last year and why they're starting to play good again this year. It's also why I think they lose when Chris Paul's on the court, because they sort of go a little bit away from what they've been doing.
Yeah.
But, if you decide this is our style of play and this is what we're going to do, you're going to win more than if you're just sort of half-assing it. And that's how I feel with Philly.
Yeah, you've definitely... I'm more on your side now, Baz.
Oh, it's because I hate Boston.
Because
I hate Boston. I knew it. Yeah. Because I said Paul Pierce is overrated.
Man, I said Paul Pierce shit himself. Okay, it's nothing to do with that.
No, Paul Pierce. The Paul Pierce thing is his Boston thing. I knew it.
These are valid points. Okay, but say okay. My issue is that maybe AD and Embiid don't work, and you guys are also saying that Simmons and Embiid also don't really work. Who would you want to pair with Embiid? Like, who is the perfect player for Embiid?
Kemba Walker, Kyrie. I feel like honestly, Klay Thompson, a scoring guard who can just close out games and just bring the ball up and just make shit happen.
I reckon Kyrie would be perfect because Kyrie already knows to play that LeBron style, your turn, my turn sort of thing, and that's kind of what you have to do with Embiid a little bit.
I feel like Kyrie as a player is kind of underappreciated right now in his career.
He knows how to control a game.
Yeah, he can. Exactly. I don't think people understand how well he can control a game ever since learning from LeBron. Like his tempo is like really good now.
See, because then I feel like Simmons should be shipped for someone like that instead.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think AD and Embiid would work, but like if you trade Ben Simmons for like someone like Kyrie or I don't know if it ever happens, James Harden or Steph Curry, it will never happen. But what I'm trying to say, like a guard at their caliber, I think that would be a really good team.
Right. So you're more just against. You just actually don't think AD would work. Like you'd rather keep Ben than AD. But if someone like Kyrie, you'd be alright with.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
That's fair.
I just don't think AD and MB would work.
That's fair.
But anyway,
seems like you guys found a middle ground.
Man.
Fuck you, Baz. Fuck you. Alright?
That's cute.
Don't ever tell me Embiid and Simmons won't work, okay? Ever tell me that.
I'll try my best.
Maybe they should trade for Draymond Green 2.0.
Yeah.
Or if Zion becomes Draymond Green 2.0, you're gonna win a chance.
Or if Zion becomes Draymond 2.0, if that actually ends up being what happens, I will wear Draymond Green jersey for like 2 days straight.
2 days, week.
Bro, you know how much that would take out of me, yeah.
Okay. 2 days straight, and then your DP, your cover photo, everything on Facebook has to be Draymond Green.
Yeah,
all right. Are we gonna do?
He's not gonna be Draymond 2.0, man. I think.
No, but honestly, like I'm joking, but at the same time, like if Zion were to develop Draymond's skill set, like that would be ridiculous, right?
If he could defend as good as I think Draymond's trash.
Would be really good because Draymond's a really good player.
But
yeah, because he'd be like an athletic Draymond Green, I guess. Like that would be ridiculous.
I think that'd be really good, actually.
Yeah, Draymond's a really good defender. If he can defend like Draymond, I think his other skills are actually. I think his scoring, especially, obviously, is way better than Draymond. So that's why I don't think he can become a Draymond 2.0.
Scoring and athletic ability.
Yeah.
But, like, who is he? In what position is he playing?
If he becomes versatile like Draymond, that'd be really good. But I do agree with Reese. Like, where is he going to play? He's too... Okay, this is the problem with Aaron Gordon. I feel like Aaron Gordon and Zion are kind of similar. Because, athletic guards who can score and everything. Aaron Gordon's problem is he's too small to play power forward, but he's too slow to play small forward. And I think that's what's happening with Zion right now.
That's the same as Jabari Parker, but the thing I have with Zion is I think Zion is young enough right now that he can be molded differently. So he sort of has a shot at the moment, and if he gets into a good system in the NBA, they can really mold that shot better. And I think a good NBA team, a strong NBA team with strong leaders, will help him lose some of that extra weight that he doesn't necessarily need at this level of the game.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying Zion is going to be bad. I just don't think he's number one right now. I think RJ or Cam Reddish should be that spot. Especially Cam Reddish, he is very underappreciated. Because Duke made the big three. He's the third fiddle. People don't see for what he is. I do, and I watched on the highlights. This dude is smooth. Like, he's butter smooth. He can play. He can become like a Kawhi or Paul George.
Butter smooth.
Don't hate what I say, but I think today's NBA, you need a wing like that to win championships.
Yeah, I just think Zion is he's just too good of a raw prospect to pass up. I just think he's just something we've not seen before, and I would not pass him up. I would do everything I can to make sure he ends up being my pick, and then from there, you've got so many things you can do with him. I don't know. If you take one of the others.
To be fair, if he does go on like that LeBron diet and come back, like, I mean, he doesn't need to drop a lot of weight, but I feel like if he does do something similar like that, I think then.
I mean, if you see a guy like PJ Tucker, he plays small ball 5. It's like, if that's where the NBA is right now, like, Zion could easily do something like that for small minutes of the game.
Oh, wow, you actually changed my mind now, actually.
Man, I'm just, like, there's so many things that he could do.
Yeah, actually, now think about it. The NBA is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is moving to positionless basketball as well. So, like, why are we arguing about what position Zion's going to play?
He'll find a way to be effective, I think, if you have the right players around him. And I think I haven't necessarily seen how good his IQ is that much, and it's hard to tell sometimes in college, but I would hope that he's a little bit more sort of intelligent at basketball and he's not just like a big, athletic freak. He doesn't come up that way.
Well, there's so many times in history where like players look so promising because of their athletic ability.
Yeah.
I.e. Andrew Wiggins, and that's because I do like Wiggins a lot, but like comparing him, he just looked really good because he was versing high school kids and college kids, and jumping to NBA. Yeah, athletic ability can be good, but if you don't bring up any other skills, you're gonna struggle.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's what's going to happen to Zion.
But I think
but it may happen to Zion.
Yeah, I think Wiggins just doesn't have the drive. That's something you can't. It's so hard to predict, and you just can't predict it really.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to do this, but I actually wrote down. I really want to discuss about this. Going back to the AD trade.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any dark horses? Like any other dark horses you think you can trade for AD?
Maybe the Trailblazers
thrown around. I heard Bucks being thrown around too, but I'm not.
I feel like the Blazers need to do a 3-man trade because who's that young guy? Is it Nick Stauskas or the other guy? I can't remember. They're young. I'm not sure they traded.
I think they just traded him actually.
Oh, well, because CJ is clearly not enough. CJ is clearly not enough for AD. So they need.
Yeah, they just traded Nick Stauskas for.
True.
Rodney Hood. Yeah, I did see that.
That's right. I knew they got Rodney Hood. I just didn't know who they traded for. Yeah, because I actually want to bring this up. There are 2 teams I think are dark horses, but if they can pull it off, I reckon it'd be pretty cool. First one is the Kings. I discussed this with you guys during the draft last year. I said the Kings had a really underrated offseason. They just got a bunch of players who can develop potential, kind of like the process. They've got a bunch of players who have high potential, and I feel like if they trade players like Zach Randolph, which is not the young player, but the young players include Bogdan Bogdanovic, Marvin Bagley, Willie Cauley-Stein, Harry Giles, and Scal Labissiere for AD and pick up Etuan Moore's contract. I don't see why Pelicans wouldn't pick that up. It's not the greatest because all those players are all unproven, but it's still a good package to get. Because that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 young players.
I think you have to give up either.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Though,
if you cannot give up a Fox, maybe Buddy Hield, but definitely not De'Aaron Fox. But if you keep both, that'd be really good. Because if that trade goes through, that's honestly a kind of similar situation with Chris Webber, and then this is a major throwback to have a dominant power forward in the Kings, and then have a Mike Bibby type player in De'Aaron Fox, and then who's the crazy shooter back in the day, the European guy.
Stojakovic.
Stojakovic, yeah. Buddy Hield.
The other guy?
Buddy Hield, man.
Oh, was it Stojakovic? Yeah.
Dude, how sick?
Bit of a stretch,
how sick would that be?
I can see it.
I don't know if that'd be a championship team, but
I just want
for that culture, I think that'd be pretty sick. But I doubt it will happen. But just imagine.
Do you think the Suns could trade for AD?
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that, but I just couldn't be bothered because I'm not really a Suns fan.
I mean, it would suck.
I mean, I feel like
The Suns would still find a way to be shit, but I feel like they have like lots of young players and they could probably trade. Hey,
yeah. Of course, not trade Devin Booker, but DeAndre Ayton, Josh Jackson.
Give away Bender. No one wants Bender.
Dragon Bender.
Warren, maybe.
That's not bad, but like I said, outside Ayton, because like outside Ayton, there's no real unproven stars, and you only get three young guns compared to like the Kings, we get 5, so you have more of a chance to develop something. But yeah, no, I think Suns. I reckon AD and Booker. I think if they do pair up, it will show if Booker is actually a good player or if he's just a player that just scores and puts up stats. Like can he make a team a winning team? Because right now, Booker hasn't had a chance to prove that because his teammates has been not the greatest.
Yeah.
And hasn't had a chance to prove like he can be a superstar that can carry a team to win. Which is bit unfortunate because that guy does have raw talent. Yeah. But anyway, my other dark horse is actually my second favorite team right now, the Denver Nuggets.
True.
This is why I brought up Monte Morris before. I think if they trade Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Trey Lyles, and Michael Porter Jr. and Malik Beasley, they're the young guns. Offload Mason Plumlee's contract for AD, Alfred Payton, and Solomon Hill. I think that's a pretty good package for both teams. And then in the next offseason, the Nuggets should. I think because I think they have a team option for Paul Millsap. Don't give him that contract. Use that money for someone else. And then I think you'll get a championship team. I right now, if I was the Denver Nuggets, I would build around Monte Morris as your point guard of the future. Whoever listens and gets to this part of the podcast, you have the chance. Watch Monte Morris play. He's a point guard you want, like someone similar to like Mike Conley, like has all the fundamentals down. He plays right basketball.
He doesn't really make mistakes.
Yeah, it doesn't make mistakes, and then it just translates to wins.
Yeah,
because like the last 3 games, he's averaging like as a starting role in the last 3 games was like 18, 5 or something, and like less than 1 turnover. Like that's I think that's a solid point guard you want on your team, and plus like
who's the 2 guard if you're getting rid of Gary Harris and Jamal Murray?
What's his name? The guy that came back, Will Barton, yeah. Will and then Barton? And that's one thing, but I reckon AD and Jokic combo, because that's basically Boogie. I reckon that's a better version of Boogie and AD.
I think you'll need like a equivalent of like a
exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Because then you don't resign Paul Millsap, and you can sign players like Klay Thompson, or I don't know if you really want to chuck big money, Buddy Hield, or even like a $12 million contract, 1-year contract to JJ Redick. You know what I mean? Or you can use that big money to sign a big free agent, someone like like I said, Klay Thompson, Kyrie, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I do like if this ever happened, I don't think it would happen because I think Denver is pretty set with what they have. But if this does happen, I do think this is a championship team, like a dynasty. Like I'll even say I think it'll be a dynasty.
I feel like
in saying that I do have but you guys do know me. I have high bias with Nikola Jokic, so
yeah. But I think both teams probably are going to be a little hesitant to move on it. I think Nuggets really like their young core. I think
exactly.
They're sort of a little attached to them. But I think yeah, you go.
No, I know you go. Yeah, sorry.
No, well, like the Pelicans also might just decide that's not worth like the bet on those young guys because they're all got a lot of potential. But the one thing I feel like they all sort of have in common, especially Jamal Murray and Gary Harris, is that they lack consistency.
Yeah.
And you can always say, they'll develop that in time.
This season in particular is Gary Harris in terms of consistency. But Jamal Murray is still very young. Don't forget that.
Yeah, he's super young.
And say, like, Jamal Murray becomes, like, people compare him to the next Steph Curry. If Michael Porter Jr. becomes healthy, People compare him to the next KD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not exactly like them, because I don't think there will ever be a next Steph Curry. Maybe KD from the way freaking kids are growing these days, but I don't think there'll be another Steph Curry. You know?
What exactly is wrong with
His back,
Michael Porter Jr. right now? Anyways,
yeah.
But say like, you know, like I think that's like, it's not the best package, of course, but it's not a bad one.
Yeah, I just think,
and Malik Beasley
is legit. I think he's legit.
Exactly.
But I think Pelicans really have their eye set on like a number 1 pick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I think they want Zion. I think they really want Zion.
They don't want Zion. They just want number 1 pick. But yeah, I do think like a team of AD, Elfrid Payton, or that would be really good. Oh, sorry. So that's the trade package. Team of AD and Jokic would be really good.
Yeah, I think that'd be good too, because Jokic can drop bombs as well.
Yeah, and like I think towards the end of AD and Boogie's duo together, I think they were actually winning games. They were actually picking it up. It was slightly working. It's just unfortunate they had the Achilles injury.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, shit. I don't know. I just think they'll wait till offseason and get that number 1 pick.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the number 1 pick. Honestly, like what you said before with the whole like position listing, you know, he can be like a PJ Tucker. Like I think he kind of won me over. Like Zion could be like that if he develops a 3.
Nice.
But I still do believe. In my heart, I still do think Cam Reddish or RJ Barrett should go number 1.
Fair enough. We'll see as the season continues.
I haven't. Honestly, I'll be straight up. I don't watch much of them, but from what I've seen,
yeah,
that's what I think. Because like from Zion, like all I've really seen is him driving in and just dunking. You know.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just him being bigger than everyone. It's like, oh well, no one really stands a chance.
But then and then you watch people like RJ and Cam Reddish when they can show like other skills which are more consistent with growing into the NBA.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm probably gonna finish it up here because it's getting pretty late, and sorry guys to keep you up.
Oh no, all good. You know I love talking a bit of shit.
Yeah. For my next podcast, I probably won't do an NBA one. I'll probably do something else. So if I have any suggestions, if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. Thanks again for being on here, Baz, and special thanks to Reese for joining us tonight.
Big love, Reese.
Right, You're most welcome, man.
You'll have a good day tomorrow, and I shall see you all next time. Bye.
All right, big love.
What?